Pleasure to welcome our guest today. Again, he's a best-selling author, he's a comedian, he's a TV writer, he's a former doctor. He's also wearing a shirt that is wasted on radio. It is completely wasted. This shirt is so important to this interview that we will have to talk about it, and you will have to watch it back on YouTube. You will have to look at our Instagrams to see what I'm talking about. We'll get to it in a minute. But he has been writing about the unfiltered reality of hospital life for nearly a decade with his signature humour. But he's here to talk about his latest projects. Not one, but two, and more besides. So we've got a new book, the crime thriller. It's called A Particularly Nasty Case. It's the first novel. Dying to talk about that. And then we've got the upcoming BBC adaptation of Dexter Proctor, the 10-year-old doctor, which we talked about the last time. Adam Kay, welcome back.
Thanks for having me back.
Nice to see you again. Okay, let's get down to business. The most important thing in this building today, is this magnificent shirt you're wearing. Describe it to us, explain why you're wearing it and how much it means to you. Thank you.
So I'm wearing a short sleeve blue shirt, unremarkable other than for the fact it's got Cookie Monster's face on it about 6,000 times. It's blue and Cookie Monster not in its entire formation, which makes it even more trippy and brilliant. It's his googly eyes and his open mouth looking for more biscuits, obviously. Tell us about, and there's cookies all around the shirt too. Tell us about the provenance of this magnificent sartorial endeavour. It's from this tiny little website I found called Instagram. And
heard of it.
Yeah, and just sort of, and they clearly know that I'm browsing lots of toddler-related items, and they flogged it to me, and the response from the toddlers is exactly the same as the response from you. Very positive.
Yeah. Which says a lot about my brain. I want to see your algorithm. Let me in there. But I'm a big, Muppets Jim Henson fan. So,
absolutely amazing.
But it's great that the next generation. Well, they're not even the next. I mean, how old are your two?
They're 3. So yeah. But they're into it. Yeah, they're into the whole stuff. I mean, I think what we do as parents quite often is force the stuff we like onto them because they don't know what else is out there.
Yeah.
And we've done that a lot with our, with books as well. We make sure they get the Hungry Caterpillar that we love as well as all the new stuff that's out there. But they've got a lot of Muppets in their diet.
And why wouldn't they? Because they're timeless in so many ways. There's such a kindness to the Muppets as well.
Yes, and it's actively funny.
Yes,
There's two types of shows that kids watch. There's the ones where it's torture for the adult stuck on the sofa, and the ones where you're like, actually, even though I've got stuff to do, I'm going to stick to the end of the show just to see what happens.
Yeah, and it's that sense. It's that sense where you have something like Shrek, Muppet, like where there's something for you, there's something for us. And
it's the Holy Grail.
It's the Holy Grail. We'll come to Dexter Proctor in a minute, but first of all, let's talk about the novel. Congratulations. I mean, this is such a good idea. A thriller set in the hospital, so you know what you're doing here. Can I ask you about what sort of your thriller interest was before you wrote it? Who were you reading? What did you like? Where were you channeling your muses from?
I mean, who doesn't like a good twist?
No.
And so at school, it was Agatha Christie, obviously the Queen. And weirdly, even though I went to a school in South London, Raymond Chandler, the American writer, went there. And so we were force-fed a lot of Raymond Chandler, which obviously, different style. And sort of over the years, a particular favourite university was Carl Hiaasen, American, often set in Floridian theme parks. But his ones were dark and funny. And so I've always thought if I write a thriller, I want it to still have that same, I don't know, scurrilous, funny tone.
And a bit of edge. I think that's important.
Oh, it's not cosy, this one. I think it's fair to say.
You're quite right.
Not to put people off buying it, but, I'd rather you don't break the spine and have to take it back. So, it's... I think if I wrote something that was, about a village GP who spots a murder at the bake sale or something, that people might not think it's sort of it's true to the sort of writing I do.
That's it.
So I think it's hopefully representative of my writing.
Well, not only that, but you've got a main character with kind of bipolar issues, and you've got this idea of, I think this has been part of your life's work is to try and destigmatize mental health illness. And to bring that into your narrative in a thriller like this, or a crime novel like this, it's a smart angle, I think, because suddenly it makes you twist your head around and go, where's this going? I like this.
Oh, good. Yeah, I think it can be a funny, twisty thriller and also have a little bit of something to say. It's not too much eat your greens, but at the same time, I did want to explore, what it's like being a doctor with this diagnosis, and the main thing it does is it makes people see through the prism of your diagnosis that they wouldn't do if your diagnosis was asthma or diabetes or whatever, but they do if it's mental illness. And so it starts off as a bit of an if done it, I guess, rather than a who done it. Wondering, this guy's a consultant rheumatologist, the sexiest branch of medicine, this guy Eitan, and is he on a wild goose chase? And are his colleagues right that they're right to raise an eyebrow at him? Or is he onto something and has someone be murdered?
And you have, as you've said before, you learned, medical school taught you a lot about the kind of gruesome side of humanity or lack of same. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, so... it was obviously set in a hospital because that meant I didn't need to do any research. But I say that, I did still need to do some research because I worked on a labour ward, and this is, the morgue side of things is happily very distant from the labour ward. So I actually met up with a friend of mine who's a coroner. And went to lunch because I had a couple of potential modes of death I wanted to run past him. Would this work? Would that work? Would that work?
I would love to put a camera on that lunch. You and the coroner plotting. But anyway, that sounds...
we're having this lunch, and I come up with this idea that I think might be a good thing. And he bangs them and says, "Yes, that's an amazing way to kill someone." And then suddenly we're around all these people having their lunch, staring round at us, wondering if they should phone the police.
Or can we join that table? I think we've deep dived on the Muppets enough now. Let's move to Dexter Proctor, 10-year-old doctor. That's what we were talking about the last time. That was the book was out, and there were obviously plans afoot at that point. What are we dealing with now?
We are dealing with a Christmas special.
Congratulations!
Thank you. And we're talking before about sort of the way that a good TV show can work for all the family, and that's definitely what we've aimed for with this show. So it's
he's the world's youngest doctor.
It's the world's youngest doctor, world's
detail.
Cleverest individual. So we all think that our children are clever. This one actually came out speaks 100 languages, and then as a toddler is watching the telly with his granny and sees a news report about the shortage of doctors. He's like, right, that's what I'm going to do. And so goes to medical school, qualifies, and unfortunately makes a mortal nemesis while he's there who thinks that children shouldn't be doctors and tries to get him sacked. And so it's the story of this doctor. And so that's and so it's a funny, hopefully caper for the kids.
Yeah.
But also we've crammed it with it's comedy A-listers in the cast. So
can you tell us who's in it?
I can tell you it is Sue Johnston,
Great.
Peter Serafinowicz, we've got Mike Wozniak, we've got Gemma Whelan, Jamila Jamil, Connie Huck, Pippa Hayward. It's great.
Who's who? And they're all in. The trailer for this TV show comes out today. It was out now, which is great fun. And then when are we going to be able to see it?
So it appears on iPlayer a week today, on Monday. And then it's going to be on BBC One sometime over Christmas that they've either not announced yet or they have told me and I've forgotten.
And you've forgotten.
Yeah.
It does, as the young people say, it gives Christmas special on BBC, which is very, very exciting. And Dexter Proctor is, where did he come from in your head? Because
the absolute genius who decides to be a doctor. I couldn't possibly say where that came from. Well, it was.
You're projecting back into your childhood. That's interesting. Yeah, okay.
So, we were talking before about, in Particularly Nasty Case, how it's also talking about the mental health thing and sneaking something in.
Yeah.
This book, even though it's this sort of a silly romp and a funny show, is also about being an outsider. And so this is a kid who, even though he's got all this going for him, he's essentially got this superpower, but he doesn't fit in. It's about learning, that it's okay to be different. And I suspect, I know that's something I felt as a kid. I suspect it's something that lots of kids have in them. And I know from kids who've written to me, who've read the book, they've identified with that, even if they don't fully identify with the genius aspect.
Why did you become such a strong advocate for mental health, generally speaking? Because I know you're involved in the Laura Hyde Foundation and you do lots of other work around this issue.
Yeah, it's a huge crisis within the NHS in particular. Well, that's a crisis worldwide, but amongst healthcare staff, there's a mental health epidemic. It's a phrase that gets used a lot, but it's a real issue. So, like, some quite awful statistics in the NHS. Every 3 weeks, one doctor takes their own life. In the NHS, every single week, one nurse takes their own life. That's just two of the huge jigsaw of professions that make up the health service. And it comes to stigma and shame and taboo and not talking about this important stuff. And I've always, felt that this is something that people need to bang the gong for, and so when I get the chance, I talk about it. And
I mean, they're desperate statistics and frightened statistics, to say the least. But to use what you have in terms of your talent as a writer and as a storyteller, to try and shine a light into those shadows is pretty important.
Well, I'm very, very lucky to now have a bit of a platform to stand on, and also I'm not working 97-hour weeks on the wards. I've got the time to be able to talk about these things. You
could have been a rock star in your head or in real life, because you were the biggest fan of pulp that ever lived. Is that right?
I am a very big fan.
And you're still a big fan of
Yes, and rightly so, as everyone should be.
And you must be pretty pleased with their comeback in the last year or so.
Yeah, I'm doubly pleased when Jarvis did the soundtrack for the BBC One adaptation of This Is Gonna Hurt.
No, even better. So that must have been quite a dream come true.
It was absolutely amazing. Well, the name came up, and I was like, well, he's never going to say yes. And then he said yes, and they produced an actual LP of it. So that's one of my most prized possessions.
So your prized possessions are a Cookie Monster shirt.
Yep.
And a Jarvis Cocker recording on vinyl LP.
Yep. And that's what I'd take from the burning house. and the children and the dog.
In that order.
No comment.
The amateur transplants.
So,
should we discuss them briefly? I mean, this could have been the band that was.
So there's this tradition of medics becoming comics. Yeah. Going back to like Graham Chapman in Monty Python and Graham Garden in the Goodies and who else? Mike Wozniak, who's in Dexter Proctor, was a friend of mine from medical school, and and Harry Hill, so many people, and essentially, I think it comes back to this sort of gallows humour.
Yes,
sort of no one teaches you how to cope with a bad day, so you improvise, and one of the things people do is sort of, develop this dark sense of humour, and there's this tradition of putting on these like Christmas shows and things, and so that was what I did.
That was your band.
That was my band a million years ago.
Well, Adam, it's all come good in the end. Anyway, maybe you put the guitar down and stick to the pen, but either way, it's for the greater good. Adam Kay, A Particularly Nasty Case is the novel. Dexter Proctor, 10-year-old doctor, like you say, is trailers out today, and you can find out where that's all happening, wherever you get your information online and what have you. Great to see you again.
Thanks.
Let's do it again soon. Best of luck.
Cheers.